Hello, everyone. This is Khalid Saleh with INVESP. Thank you for joining us at our new webinar, which is relevant to anybody who does any type of B2C, probably even B2B, since the holidays and peak seasons are about to start. Promise to have some really good quality content for you. We hope that you will enjoy it. Joining me today in this webinar, Ayat was supposed to be doing the webinar from INVESP side, but she had a family emergency, so I'm going to be doing the portion on INVESP focused on the conversion optimization portion. But our guest speaker is Cara, deBeer. She is the paid search director at Catalyst from their Boston office. Now, Cara is an amazing personality. I had heard her speak at a couple of events earlier this year. She has 12 years of experience in the online marketing space, working on both sides, on the agency side and also on the brand side. So I think when you have that perspective, there's definitely tremendous amount of value. And she has managed campaigns across the spectrum, from the legal to technology. So I believe you will enjoy what she had prepared for us. Now, at the same time, just quick few quick notes before we get started with Cara. If you have any questions, you can use the question section in the GoToWebinar. Just post your questions there, and what we try and do, we'll go for about 45 minutes, and then we'll leave the last 10 minutes just to answer any questions that you guys might have. The recording for this webinar will be available. We plan on posting it on our YouTube channel by this coming Tuesday. You will receive an email. Also, the contact information for Cara, for myself, will be available as part of the slides. With that, Cara, thank you for joining us today.
Thanks so much, Khalid. So
awesome. Why don't you get started?
Fantastic. So the first part of this webinar is all about ways to use paid search to drive high-intent traffic during the holidays and high season. Should you have been testing for the previous 3 quarters so you could unleash your learnings on Q4? Ideally, yes, but we don't always live in an ideal world, and it's November already. So most of the things I'm going to cover today can be implemented in the short term, and hopefully some of these tactics will give you ideas for your own campaigns. The other thing I wanted to note is that these suggestions are going to be useful for the holidays, but most of them are also applicable to other high season demand periods. So, back to school, cold and flu season, summer activities, like whatever your seasonality is, most of these tactics will apply. So, as Khalid said, I work for Catalyst, and we are a leading digital marketing agency partnering with some of the biggest and best brands in the world. We specialize in developing digital solutions for Fortune 1000 companies that deliver business results. As you can see from this slide, our expertise extends beyond paid search. We're also experts in SEO, paid social, and all things Amazon search. I was just introduced, so I'm going to jump past this bio slide. For the purposes of this presentation, I'm going to assume that you've got the basics covered in your campaigns and take a look at some more advanced tactics and strategies you can use to give yourself an edge during ultra-competitive peak seasons. I'll be touching on paid search, shopping, YouTube for shopping, and Amazon. First, I'm going to focus on search ads specifically. For all the tactics, I'm going to speak to what it is, how to set it up, and who should use it. I'm also going to cover a lot of material pretty quickly today, but as Khalid said, the webinar will be recorded. It'll be available afterwards, so you don't need to worry about writing everything down in real time. So looking at the first tactic is countdown ads. As you can see from the images, countdown ads have a sale or an offer in the ad copy itself, which includes information about how much longer the sale will be running. So you have a sale on, you want to let people know about it. Ideally, you want to increase their sense of urgency so that they pull the trigger. But no one has time to update their ad copy daily, and that's also really not scalable. But you can automate the process. Bing actually has a countdown customizer that's really simple to use. Google doesn't currently have one available, but you can use an AdWords script to do the same thing, so that's fairly straightforward. Looking at image extensions. So for Bing, this is available on Bing. The ads show on larger screens, desktop and tablet, and there's a small picture included in the ad itself. You can see it at the top right of the, whatever you want to include. The format is really effective for grabbing attention and obviously increasing click-through rate and engagement. So that means that it's going to work especially well when it's being paired with an offer or a special deal, something like that. In-market search is basically the search engines looking at user behavior patterns via browser data and identifying which users are ready to purchase or are in the market for specific categories. Google has already rolled this out widely. Bing is still in beta. Bing has some categories that Google doesn't offer, so it's definitely worth an email to your Bing rep to get waitlisted to try this out. And your strategy on this is similar to what you'd use in ROSA, in that since you're working with a pre-qualified audience, you can go broader with your keywords in order to get better scale. It's still going to be a relatively small percentage of overall traffic because it's just a small subsection of everyone using the browsers, but it should be a highly efficient small percent. Again, it correlates to RLSA in that way. Moving on to shopping, I'm going to cover some ideas for offer promotions, as well as leveraging geolocation data to improve your campaigns, and finally some reporting to get you competitive insight. Shopping feed promos are pretty straightforward. You can see in the red box on that ad that the special offer link does help differentiate the ad from its peers. It's pretty straightforward. You fill out a form to get the ball rolling. Obviously, you're going to need an offer to link to, but that's about it. So, you're already set up. You fill out the interest form, and you go from there. It's painless. It's pretty painless. Affiliate location extensions and local inventory are both Google products. The ad on the far right is local inventory, and that shows products in stock at nearby outlets for your store. Affiliate locations do the same thing, except instead of just showing your own stores, it's an extension that will show your retail partners. And so that's the ad that's to the left, that little screenshot. For affiliate location extensions, you will need to work with your affiliates as part of the setup process. Both are a really good option for turning online searching into foot traffic in stores, which is always desired. And showcase shopping ads. This is something that's designed for use when you want a shopping ad to show on certain generic keywords, like your high volume head keywords, but you don't have a specific product that you want to show in response to this. So, for example, maybe you are a major pharmacy chain who does significant sales volume in makeup. Drugstore makeup is something that you wouldn't want to match to a specific product in a shopping feed, but it's a good scenario for where you'd want to use showcase shopping and you have an ad that showed, your range of makeup, something like that. Obviously, it's an upper funnel product, and the main opportunity here is that you're able to get your brand out there in a more relevant way while people are upper funnel. And finally, taking a look at a report, price benchmark reporting. It's not actually an ad, it's a Google Merchant Center report. I don't think it's super well known. It's definitely worth checking out for competitive insights. You can use this report to see up to 5 competitor prices per product. So you can really gauge where you fall on the price spectrum, and you can assess what kinds of price changes you would need to make to differentiate yourself on a price basis. Are you able to undercut your competitors enough to actually get consumer attention and boost volume on key products? Or would that mean that your margins drop so low that that's not really feasible? So you need to, okay, this is my price. It's kind of with middle of the pack here. I can't really drop it, so I need to look at other tactics. So this report can really help you refine your pricing strategy as far as your shopping products go. For YouTube, I chose to focus on YouTube shopping products since we're really trying to look at how to drive high intent traffic here. Location extensions for YouTube, as you know, similar to the location extensions in regular search. This is available YouTube for shopping. So if you're using shopping and you're using YouTube, this is definitely, definitely try using YouTube for shopping. And one way to make your YouTube shopping ads more relevant is by using location extensions. It's probably the easiest thing in this entire presentation to set up because you don't have to set up. As noted, you're automatically opted in. You actually have to opt out if you don't want it. So definitely give it a check. I mean, I think this is something that's going to help with relevance, and it's pretty painless to set up as well as to opt out of. Shopping ads on YouTube, keyword targeted. So they use the video title and the description as indicators of what the video content is. That's what your keyword gets matched to. It's pretty easy to set up. You just opt into YouTube shopping campaigns, and you can use your current merchant center feeds, which is nice. You don't have to do 2 of those, and it'll get your shopping campaigns in front of a totally new audience. So it's really going to help you with reaching and scaling your shopping. TrueView for Shopping is kind of a subset of the YouTube shopping ads, which allow you to advertise your products on your own videos. So that's great for cross-selling. Let's say you're C2C, you sell hair and makeup. On a hair video, you can cross-promote your makeup products, or you can also use it to make it really seamless for someone who is maybe watching a makeup tutorial, and they can find those exact products online as they're mentioned in the tutorial using this. And it's just one less search for the user to do, make it easier for them to go straight from video to putting it in the cart and making a purchase. If Amazon didn't invent Cyber Monday, they are definitely the 500-pound gorilla of Cyber Monday. I'm not going to lie, Amazon is way more competitive in the run-up to Black Friday through the end of the holidays. But the silver lining there is that even though there are more marketers competing for eyes on pages than at other times, the opportunity is also larger than any other time of the year. So in 2016, they saw a 14% increase in visitors to the site. The average visitor looked at 18 more pages, which really a lot more pages, and spent 26% longer on the site. And those numbers are expected to continue to grow in 2017. Amazon holiday gift guides are organized by category. And I can say as a loyal Prime user that they are unavoidable during the holidays. They're pay to play. I think not everyone realizes that, so I thought that would be good to mention. So that's good because it means that you only need a budget to clear the entry bar. But the downside is that you do need a budget to participate in this. If you do decide to add this as part of your marketing strategy, Amazon's research shows that it can be a really good way to differentiate yourself from your competitors and grab traffic away from them. Also, a fantastic opportunity for product discovery. Amazon storefronts are basically little branded e-com storefronts within Amazon. You can set them up yourself. I would say that it really only makes sense if you have enough products to have a reasonably sized store, not like 5 products. That would just be a pretty thin site. The one caveat that I would say with the storefronts is discoverability. Amazon doesn't currently have a terrific way for people to discover the storefronts organically, but you can definitely entice users there with headline search ads promoting special offers, bargains, discounts, things like that. Once they're there, then they're in your store, they're discovering your products, and they're increasing awareness of your brand, consideration of your other products. So it's definitely worth trying. And finally, some Amazon tips which you don't need much, if any, advanced planning to execute on that you should do during the high season. So taking an always-on approach to capitalize on the higher traffic volume by making sure you're taking advantage of your full budget and using accelerated pacing. By the way, I'm talking about not underspending your budget. I'm not suggesting it's a good idea to cap out on your budget and have your campaigns go dark. I'm just saying you have a budget, make sure that you're using it. This is a really terrific opportunity. You can also create holiday bundles with attractive pricing. The margin might be lower, but you'll see an overall higher revenue volume. Plus, you get all the benefits of new customer acquisition, customer reactivation. So there's that stuff that's a little, it's harder to measure, but it's still gonna benefit and continue to pay off even after your high season's over. Finally, you just need to be retail ready, prepare your seasonally specific keywords that, whatever makes sense for your business, and make sure items are in stock in your store. I know that sounds really obvious, but you'd be surprised how many people don't keep a close enough eye on inventory. A lot of them. Finally, for Amazon, we've got a new white paper out about Amazon. As marketers, we need to think beyond Amazon as the leading US e-com platform because they're also a top search engine and a critical channel for product discovery. That means there are substantial marketing opportunities, which are also evolving pretty quickly. So we all need to work fast to stay ahead of the curve. This white paper can help you to develop strategies to make your marketing effective on Amazon. And finally, thank you for your time. That's all I have. Khaled, I'm going to pass it back to you.
Awesome. Thank you, Cara. And I'm going to just switch the presentation to me. 1 second. I know if some of you guys attend the INVESP webinars regularly, but those who follow INVESP for a while know that I was actually a software architect on the GoToWebinar meeting, but they've changed the software quite a bit in the last few years. So that was pre-INVESP. Awesome. Let's go ahead and show my screen. Okay, everyone. So like Cara mentioned, she focused on driving traffic to your website. What I'm going to go ahead and do is talk about a little bit about driving traffic during the holidays, but I'll also talk about converting that traffic. So let's get started over here. So quickly about INVESP. So we're one of the very first companies that focused on conversion optimization. We've been doing it for the last 12 years. We've done almost 400 plus CRO projects. The number is actually a little outdated over here because by the end of this year, we're close to doing 5,000 successful A/B tests, delivering an average of 65% uplift within 12 months. And we work with some very well-known brands, eBay, 3M, Dish, Special Olympics, and also many smaller companies. I would say the one thing that brings them all together is the fact that they are frustrated by their low website conversion rates, and they have the, sometimes I say, the guts to do what it takes to be able to increase their conversion rates. Now, let's jump in over here and talk about, this comes from marketing experiments, the conversion formula that basically determines whether somebody is motivated to convert on your website or not for M plus 3V plus 2I minus F minus 2A. So the very first one, if you notice over here, that impacts whether a person is ready to convert on your website is the 4M. And the M for marketing experiments, which is, I think, is the first company actually in the US to do conversion optimization. M over here reflects visitors' motivation. Now, this is what's powerful about the holidays and peak seasons. There's a concept in usability, what we call sometimes the fresh start effect, where people, there's certain events that really cause a person to say, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and convert. So they're highly motivated. And that's what we see during those peak seasons. Now, this might vary from one company to the next. One of the clients we worked with is skis.com. So their peak season was actually during the winter. Summer was extremely slow for them. It didn't, they didn't really have a lot of focus during the Christmas. But it varies from one website to the next. Now, what makes and creates that motivated visitors? Definitely high seasons, peak seasons is one of those factors. High level of need for a particular product, that increases the visitor's motivation. If you are able to create a well-integrated, well-executed marketing campaign, then you see that high motivation. If you're able to have some special offers, that also will motivate the visitor, or sometimes it's related to specific events in the mind of the visitor. Let me talk a little bit over here about the high need. So one of the companies we work with is an addiction recovery. They're a clinic, and it's sort of interesting because when we did the analysis, so lots of people come in and fill requests and they want to learn more about the clinic. But what's interesting is that about 60 to 70% of the people are only gonna convert after really bad events happen. So they hit rock bottom, and that's when we see a conversion event happening. So kind of keep that in mind, that it varies from one website to the next. And ultimately, it comes down to the customer, your target customer, understanding what makes them tick. And I think if you have done any type of marketing, if you attend marketing conferences, if you attend webinars regularly, read blogs, everybody says that you need to focus on the customer. I mean, you must have heard it thousands and thousands of times. The challenge is in translating, that advice that we always hear about focusing on the customer, into translating that and conveying that in every interaction that the visitor has with your website. Sounds easy, but I can give you so many different examples where many different companies fail at that. And you also have to remember something else. How marketing have changed tremendously in the last few years, because everything has been commoditized. I can get the same product, the same service from so many different alternatives, or I can maybe even accept the status quo. If I want to buy a product, I can go to Amazon, Target, eBay. I can even probably walk down the street and get the product. So in an age where everything has been commoditized, you as somebody who operates an operation, who runs an operation online, need to figure out how do you create that unique experience. Now, I want you to think about this. Think about the shopping that you've done in the last 6 months. How often in those last 6 months did you transact with a website, converted on that website, but you were wowed by that experience? It's sort of difficult to come up with examples where the next day you go to the office or you're sitting with your family and you tell them, hey, by the way, I did this shopping yesterday and it was so amazing. It's rare. And this is the other difficulty, even when this happens the first time, we get used to it as humans, correct? So what wows us at some point becomes second nature, and we get used to it and kind of we move on from there. It's also extremely important to remember that the conversion process, how somebody converts on your website, it's not a linear process. It's rather a process that's highly driven by the customer. People, jump around you across your website. People don't follow a linear path or a linear funnel. Let's say you have an e-commerce website. People come on the home page, they go to a product page, instead of clicking on the add to cart, they go back to a category page, they might exit your website. So we're all over the place, and that's one of the challenges of doing conversion optimization. And ultimately, whatever solutions you come up with those solutions have to have two criteria. They must generate repeatable and sustainable increases in your conversion rate. Now, also typically, conversion optimization has always focused on conversion, but nowadays, as part of the evolution of online marketing, conversion optimization expands into figuring out how do you nurture your leads, how do you engage them, how do you retain your customers. All of that now falls within the realm of conversion optimization. Now, typically, whenever we're doing conversion optimization, we follow the SHIP method. I'm talking to you guys right now from Las Vegas. I just presented at PubCon yesterday, one of the largest online conferences, and I gave a talk around the SHIP method, which basically breaks down the optimization process into 4 steps: scrutinize, hypothesize, implement, and propagate. Scrutinize, you figure out the issues on your website. Hypothesize, you come up with a hypothesis on how to fix them. Implement, you implement the solution. Propagate, you share the knowledge. Now, during the holidays, visitors are extremely motivated, and they're willing to overlook lots of the usability issues that you have on your website, lots of the problems, lots of what we call the FUDs, fears, uncertainties, and doubts that they might have because they want to get the product. And of course, as we get to a specific time, for example, let's say people are shopping for Christmas, so the closer that date gets to us, the more motivated we are. Now, the challenge is sometimes, even with a motivated visitor, it is extremely difficult to convert. So I'll give you a case study. This is something that actually happened to me. So part of the PopCon event, there is the US Search Awards, which is an event for online marketers. So we select the top online companies during the year. They receive awards. And I decided, you know what, I'm going to be at PopCon. Let me attend the Search Awards. It's a good event to attend in the industry. So I pull up the website on my mobile phone, and I say, okay, let's go ahead. Okay, I see it's almost $380, I think. I'm like, it's fine. I'll go ahead and just buy the ticket. And I click on Add to Basket, and I'm taken back again to the home page. And I'm like, okay. And I look again. I'm like, okay, US Search Awards. Yeah, I'm ready to click on it. I want to buy it. And I try again, and I'm taken back to the reservation page, and I click on it, and I'm taken back to the home page. So here is somebody, I've made the decision to buy, I am ready to buy, and I'm trying to go through the process, and I just cannot do it no matter how hard I try. So I decided to go on the home page, on the desktop version. Of course, I had to wait until I got to the office, pull up my desktop, and I noticed one thing on the desktop I did not see on the mobile, that there is a quantity, and by default, it is set to 0. I mean, it should have been set to 1. Who would add 0 quantity to their basket? But that is the challenge. So basically, I could see it on a desktop because it's a much larger screen. On the mobile version, I did not see it. So I'm like, okay, well, let me go back to the mobile site and see, do they have that problem? So yes, I noticed now the box that I did not see the first time to change the quantity. But what's also interesting to me, and these are kind of small usability details, notice the keyboard that they've showed is the keyboard with the letters, but I need to input numbers. Yes, we can switch, but I mean, again, it's the small usability issues that sometimes we do not notice that can hinder how people interact with the website. Okay. One of the very first things as the holidays are approaching, that you need to do is you need to fine-tune your value proposition. You need to really figure out what messaging is going to resonate well with your visitors. So there is 4 different areas that we always focus on with our clients. We always tell them, okay, let's set, and we're planning for the holidays. Let's figure out what are all the features, common features that customers evaluate when they're buying a specific product. So they list those features, any feature that you can think of. Now, of those features, what are the top 3 features that really are most important? So, we've already listed 10, 12, maybe 15. Let's figure out the top 3 features. And then let's figure out what is the differentiating factor between us and our competitors. Because our competitors are going to be running also campaigns. And then, besides differentiators, we ask, what is the one thing that's going to wow people? Now, every time I ask that question, people start get really give complicated answers, and I'm like, no, you don't. It does not have to be complicated. A very good example of this is Amazon Prime. Such a simple concept. People want to get stuff really quickly because of instant gratification. We're not going to give it to them same day, but we're going to deliver it, within 2 days, free shipping, and we'll make people pay for it. Such a simple concept. No one had thought of it before, and that's what you need to do. What is it that's going to wow our visitors? Again, you want to focus on figuring out that messaging, and then we need to figure out how do we build momentum? How do we actually get people to actually convert after we figure out that messaging? Now, one thing also you want to think about is you need to drive traffic. After you figure out the messaging, you've created that, you conveyed that message on your website, you need to drive traffic to your campaigns. And you can drive new customers, new visitors, but the rule is returning visitors, those who have bought from you at some point, are, of course, your most loyal. They know the brand, they've bought, they interacted, they moved from I'm merely a website visitor and somebody who had converted. So that's one thing. Or those who had just visited the website, regardless whether they converted or not converted, because they are also familiar with the brand. During the holidays, in addition to what Cara had talked about, there are just a few things that you want to think about. In terms of traffic sources, email marketing, paid channels, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, retargeting ads, and influencer marketing. during the holidays, email is effective all year around, but it is even more effective channel. And we see data on this, whether it's B2B or B2C. You know, we're talking about most marketers will put email anywhere between 75 to 90%. They say it's their most effective channel, whether it's for capturing conversions, actual orders, or for lead generation. Now, what's important is that you need to think that email is an experience as well. Sometimes when we talk about usability, when we talk about user experience, we forget that email is yet another experience, because you have to persuade me. I get hundreds of emails per day. It's funny, like I had a kind of a practice session with Cara earlier, and I had thought I reached zero inbox, no emails in my inbox. I processed them, and during the call, which lasted I think for like maybe 20 minutes, by the time we finished, I look and there's like 51 emails. I'm like, really? You know, I just do not understand that. And none of them is like, you know, it's like it's all related to work. So how do you actually stand out? That's something that you want to think about. You want to capture emails. Don't let people come to your website without capturing their email, and you can get very creative. If people are coming on your website and you're not capturing their email, you are letting go of one of the most valuable resources for your conversion efforts. And there is so many different options and pop-ups and email capture options available now in the market. You just need to do one of them. Now, offering something like, you know, for those who are willing to give their email 15% discount, a gift certificate, is a really great way to persuade people not only to give you their email, but guess what? They're enticed by that offer, so most likely they want to use that 15 or 10%, whatever it is that you're offering them. So you're also getting a promise of a conversion. Quick thoughts around email. Since we're approaching the holidays, you want to start your email campaigns at least 30 days prior to the peak season, kind of the specific event. And you start with a campaign that's well orchestrated, that drives people to your specific landing pages that have the value proposition that we talked about. Now, after that initial email kickoff, what we like to do, and this is not very aggressive, maybe once a week, we're sending an email, sometimes twice a week, until you reach the last week, and that's where we get a lot more up to, like, you know, there's a cutoff date, correct? Like, you know, so there is in terms of shipping and how long an item is going to take in transit. So we get a lot more aggressive with our emails. Now, we have some clients, especially in the apparel, for example. We have a client that sends emails twice a day. They have a humongous email list with almost 15 million email addresses on it. And they drive most of their business. We're talking about close to $40 million annual sales from pure email marketing. Something else when it comes to email, you want to segment your list. You want to look, and this is very basic segmentation, correct? Those who opened the email but did not click through, those who clicked through but did not convert, those who place an order. And for each one of those segments, trying to figure out, okay, so what do we do with that? Those who opened the email but did not click through, we need to create specific email to encourage them to click through. If they click through, maybe added items to their cart, you know, but did not finish the conversion process, we need to kind of trigger another email, encourage them to finish the conversion. Now, this is the simple segmentation. Additional possible segmentation is we start looking at, for example, people who placed an X number of orders in the last 6 months, maybe 3 or 4 orders or 5 orders, depends on your business. And at the same time, they clicked on the email but did not convert, correct? We know that they've converted a while back, maybe somebody who placed 6 orders with us in the last 6 months. We sent him this email or sent her this email. She clicked through. She did not place an order. Okay, she is somebody who interacted with us, likes our business, trusts us. So that's the kind of segmentation that you want to think about. Or maybe think about people who place, whenever they place an order with us, their average order value is twice as much our site average order value. Guess what? That is somebody that can drive a lot of value, a lot of business for us. Another way to drive people to your website for your campaigns for the holidays is through retargeting. And I hear this, by the way, quite a bit of time, that it's a waste of time, waste of money. And I always say retargeting is a waste of money if you do not know how to do it. So here are some things that you want to think about. You want to segment your retargeting ads based on what pages people visited. So somebody who got your cart page, that means that they've added items to the cart. The offer that I'm going to show them is a lot different than somebody who just viewed our homepage, never made it to the product pages, correct? You can also tailor your ads for those. So not only the offer for those people should be different. The offer should be very clear. You can do upsells, cross sells as well when it comes to that. Now, this is another best practice that we have, where we retarget existing customers. And people always think, if they're an existing customer, do we need to retarget them? Of course, if they have not converted recently, but sometimes retargeting somebody who even converted within the last 2-3 days is a good idea, because you emphasize your brand in their mind. Just don't overdo it. Prada is a good example of a company that overdoes retargeting to the point that actually consumers have had a backlash with all their retargeting. Something else that's worth trying in the holidays is influencer marketing. In all honesty, we have some clients who are doing just incredibly well finding influencers. First, figuring out those influencers actually reach the same target market as our clients, and then figuring out a deal with those influencers, an Instagram influencer, a Facebook influencer, a Snapchat influencer. Now, sometimes people get really crazy sometimes with the budgets that they set for this. I always say, test it, see if it works or not, and then you can optimize it. Then you can kind of turn that faucet on and increase the number of influencers and mentions, and you always should be measuring whenever you're running one of those campaigns. So we figured out the messaging. We figured out how we're going to drive people to the website. Now let's talk about what do we need to do on the website to actually get that conversion. So we need to have specific designs to be able to convert most of those visitors into customers. One of the rules that we have is using incentives, and incentives are divided into 3 different categories for us. So pricing incentives, urgency, and scarcity. Let's talk about some of the urgency and scarcity that you see over here in this example. Notice how this urgency and scarcity, booked 7 times today, booked 26 times today, in high demand, only 4 rooms. Scarcity, there's a sense of urgency, and I think travel websites are highly competitive, but they do an excellent job using scarcity and urgency. But a note on that. So one of the challenges, and the EU is actually investigating some of these websites because they discovered that these are not real. And if you try and use scarcity and urgency and it's not real, it's gonna backfire. We know it, and I always we try different things and we think we're too smart, and people get used to us and they figure out what we're doing, and we ruin things for ourselves. So you just have to be careful. Whatever marketing that you're using needs to be very honest. Here's another example. Notice how this is from a company, 0 days, 19 hours, 8 minutes remain. And here is the use of scarcity and urgency within the email. We only have 71 tickets left to this specific live event. There's going to be a full house. Again, this use of urgency and scarcity. Other examples of urgency and scarcity, banners that you see. Sometimes you can even do offline mailers. Last call. Look at the ad that we see over here. The use of the animated GIF. That if you order today with prior to shipping, you will get it. Will arrive before Christmas. Those are all good examples of scarcity and urgency. During the holiday, something else that you want to think about is the share and save. Share the specific offers, the special offers that we have, and save more whenever you're placing an order. So ideally, of course, is one of those companies that started that. As you notice over here, there is tell a friend. So on your product pages, somebody basically, somebody's about to order on your cart page, refer a friend to us. Send an email to a friend. And if that friend places an order with us, guess what? You are going to get $10, $15 off of your next purchase. It's a great way to be able to get people to bring you more customers, share, and actually, if you're giving them a $15 or $10 coupon, it's yet another way to encourage them, correct? To actually come back and convert on your website. Linkbird is another good example, 10% discount, tell a friend program. Hotjar does a really good, they have a full referral program where you referral, and they take the top companies that are referring. They give you basically free lifetime business accounts for those who refer the most friends. So you're competing against other users of their app. So something else that you want to do, especially if you're running an e-commerce, and this is something that we've done recently, very incredible results. So Lang is a company that sells calendars, postcards, and they're all custom designed by amazing artists. Lang been around around since the 1940s. And what we said, since we have the holidays, let's go ahead and instead of just having the plain homepage that has so many different competing offers, let's change the homepage and recategorize some items to match what. For example, Christmas. And when we did this, we saw a 10% increase over all websites conversion rate, which was pretty incredible. We again did the same thing, refined it more, and we saw another increase in continue. Now we took the same, we figured we can take the same concept. We took the same concept and we said, let's implement that on category pages. So again, here used to be the old design of the category pages. Here is the 2018 calendars and planners. And again, we saw an incredible increase in conversion rates. Just a few things that you want to think about. Do not compete on price. Competing on price is not a strategy. It might work if you're at Walmart, but few of us are. Offer, add freebies, incentives, price incentives. Update your offers very regularly and try and think of the use of gamification. Those are all ways to be able to capture more of those visitors. And remember, the rule is we want to retain and we want to build loyalty. Somebody who converted, we have a 4x chance of bringing them back, having them place another order on our website. And you want to think about, it's not about single conversion, it's about the long-term engagement. Most companies until now are spending most of their time, most of their money on obtaining new customers. But think about your existing customers. As you see the data over here, 44% of the money invested is in bringing new customers, 18% is spent in retaining customers, which I think is just shows you that people do not understand real what they can do about the treasure of their existing customers. Notice some of the data also about your existing customers that if somebody had converted with you, there's a 50% chance that they will try to buy other products from you, and most likely if you bring them back, there's a 31% chance that they'll spend more money. A 5% customer retention will translate to anywhere between 20 to 70, 80, 90% of additional profits. With that, that finishes the slides that I have prepared. It seems that we've had some audio problems. My apologies for that. We'll post the recording this coming by Tuesday. Hopefully we'll have it up by Monday. You guys will receive a copy of the recording in your inbox. Cara, you're still on?
Yes, I am.
Very good, excellent. If you guys have any questions, you can use the question feature in the GoToWebinar. Cara, before we leave, just a quick question. If somebody comes and says, okay, well, I've heard of all this, there's so much good information, but there's just little time to do all of this before the holiday. What's kind of your top, one or two things? It's like, hey, I have limited.
I think it's gonna vary. So what I would really do is take a look at your top channels right now and see, what's performing best for you right now. As you said, you're looking for the top one or two. Take a look at your top channels, and then from there, look at using a couple tactics within that channel that's doing really well for you. So, if shopping campaigns are doing really well for you, then you probably want to spend some time doing some optimization. You want to do promos. You can do a ton of stuff. You can do a ton of different stuff with feed optimization. So that would be your option. If you're really seeing a lot of traction in search, then maybe you want to try some of the extensions and the other stuff that we talked about there. Similarly, if Amazon is your bread and butter, then that's where you really want to pay the most attention to. And then you do want to, go to the trouble of building out the Amazon storefront. So it depends, but you can certainly, I would definitely start with what's going to move the needle most first.
Awesome, very good, excellent. Well, thank you everybody for attending. You will receive an email from us with the webinar recording. If you're watching this recording on YouTube, that means you've missed the original webinar, or maybe you just loved it and you're watching it again. Please do share this webinar with your friends and colleagues, anybody who you think will benefit from us. We will have links to Catalyst in the notes and the YouTube channel to INVESP as well. With that, wish everybody an amazing holidays.
Thanks so much, everyone, and thanks, Khalid, for having us.
Thank you.